Thank you for joining us today for the assembly of a TRAKOR with a Loppet 60 drawbar. What we're going to do to start is to unpack and make sure that we have all the components that are needed to assemble this particular snow groomer. Staples. The box here, we have a left and a right drawbar. The hardware kit will have everything that you need to assemble this particular snow groomer. So inside the box, you'll have the instructions for this TRAKOR. You'll either have a pin or you'll have a ring type coupler. If you have the pin, you should have a detent pin as well. You'll have a hitch plate and the optional wing set. The second box that we have here is the chassis itself. Once we have the chassis removed from the box, you should see the weight cover with the straps that will hold the weight cover onto the chassis once you've added weight. If you look at the tools section, it will list that you need a 7/16 wrench, a 1/2 inch wrench, 7/16 socket, 1/2 inch socket and ratchet, and a set of needle nose pliers. Have all those tools ready for me to go, and it would be a good idea for you to have them readily available as well. The next step for you to consider is if you purchase the optional wing set, this is a good time for you to make sure that you have the hardware. It should be wrapped right with the wings themselves. Don't cut down into you don't want to cut the urethane combs or to mess up the powder coat in any way. The wings themselves are right and left specific. So this being the front of the chassis, the tapered side, and when you put the wings on, the beveled edge that you see is going to taper to a point. And we're going to put the wings on both sides. The hardware is in the little bag here, and we're going to have two bolts and 2 nuts for each side. We're going to install the wing on the right side. We're going to match these 2 holes with these 2 holes on the side of the chassis and add the nylock nut to the end. Just finger tighten, put the second on and finger tighten so that we have it in place. Using the ratchet on the nut side, and then tighten it up. The next is the drawbars. In this case, we have the Loppet 60 drawbars. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I have everything in my hitch plate assembly, the 2 hitch plate components. And what I'm looking at is the pieces that will go together with the drawbars. So now that we have those, we're going to make sure that we have the hardware that is associated with it, and we're going to be putting the carriage bolts. You can see on this plate, it has the square holes versus the lower has the round holes. So what we're going to be looking at is the carriage bolts will fit right into those so that it doesn't turn, and all we have to do is keep pressure on it once we put it through and have the nut on. These 2 pins that are on either side are what the drawbars will attach to. Now on the drawbar itself, it comes with a protective wrap on it. You just need to slide that off. And then the sticker side is going to be facing away from the chassis. And this, we're going to put the chassis right over the pin. And what we will notice is as it comes up, it'll point to it'll come to the center point of that chassis. Once you have this on here, is to grab that a cotter pin and just slide it through there. You don't need to put it on there in case for some reason you need to take it on or off, but this will keep it from sliding off. After I've slid this on, I will then slide that cotter key in just to keep it so it doesn't slide off while I'm working with it. We're going to put the hitch plate to the front of the drawbars now. In preparation, we're going to take the 4 carriage bolts that came in the package, and we're going to put some anti-seize on each of them. Then I will, after I have those on, I'll get the top plate, which has the square holes and the receiver. Line that up and drop the carriage bolt through it. Hold it down with your thumb. Put the bottom plate to match. And just finger tighten a nut on there to hold it all together. Just finger tighten a nut on there until we get all 4 of these in. Then I'm going to tighten on one side, and I want to tighten the other to help it keep it from shifting. So now we have the hitch plate installed. Make sure that all 4 are tightened up. And this is the receiver for, in this case, our pin coupler. It could be a ring coupler. It will slide in. What it might be a good idea is to get a little bit of that anti-seize or grease, and just so that we don't end up with it getting seized in there, slide it in and line up the holes and put in our shear pin, and you'll be ready to go. If you're hooking it up to the back of your machine, it will attach to some kind of a pin coupler device. It will go in the center of that hitch, and then once that is aligned, the detent pin slides in so that you have your finished connection and you're ready to take off. Now that we have the drawbar arm, or the drawbar over the pin, what we're going to do is we're going to secure it. So we're going to start by adding the washer and putting it so that the hole is exposed here. We're going to slide the cotter pin through, and there's an elongated end of it. So using the needle nose pliers, we're going to grab that portion of the end and bend it, and that'll keep it secure, that it doesn't come off. Adding the weights to the weight compartment, you will have the weight cover. We're going to set that just aside for a moment, but this area is designed for the weight to be added. And what we have to, as an example, is we've went to the local hardware and picked up some paving blocks, and we can set those right in here. And of course you can stack them as many as you need that will actually stay on there, but once you have the blocks centered, you can put the weight cover on, and then using the straps and these D-rings that are to the chassis, you're going to put those on there and strap it down. Will be like so that your so it doesn't bounce out or get any issues that way, and you're secure. You don't lose them on the trail, and adjust the weight as you need. Hopefully that was beneficial and that you're ready to start grooming. Enjoy.